How many stunt people do you know right now that are writers, that have become screenwriters?
One, but his circumstances are very special. I know a former Navy SEAL who went on to become a writer, and he's very successful. And that's it, and me.
Interesting. So he did his service and retired and then...
Well, I met him on a job, on a stunt job, and it was, we became friends. And then a few years later, I saw a Deadline article with him, and I saw that he was, writing on a television show, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And he was a stuntman, he did stunts. So, but that's it. I don't know any other actual stunt performer, man or woman, that has gone on to write on television outside of myself. Yeah.
When you moved to LA, did you know you were going to begin writing?
Yes. Yeah, I moved here to eventually become a writer. I mean, I was doing stunts full time. That was my career. But I came out here to meet my writing partner before we decided to move out here. I mean, my wife introduced me to my now writing partner and best friend, Adam Payson. And, so I came out, I met with him, and we kind of vibed at that time. And so when when we made the decision to come out here full time, it was absolutely to work as a stuntman for me, and my wife's an actor, so it was for her to work as an actor. But I had aspirations of eventually pivoting into writing, hopefully.
When you say vibed, how do you know that that's like you want to spend time working on a creative project with someone?
So we didn't become best friends overnight. My writing partner, Adam, and I are polar opposites. I mean, in every possible way. He is incredibly educated. He's got a doctorate, and master's from Northwestern and doctorate from Western Michigan, and he's, won playwriting awards and the Kennedy Award. I mean, he's just incredibly accomplished and brilliant. And I am not brilliant, and I'm not super academic, and I'm certainly not academically accomplished. Adam's, I'm an ex-criminal, ex-drug addict, ex-criminal, ex-athlete. He's not. We're just very different in many ways, but we got along and we filled in the gaps for each other. And also, he taught me how to write. I knew how to tell stories. I knew how to do that, but I didn't know how to put them on paper. I didn't know how to structure them. And Adam, I feel like I have a master's now because I feel like I learned from him everything I needed to know about story structure and, 5-act structure and 3-act structure and half hours and 1 hour. I mean, he taught me all this stuff. And so over the course of, some years, we went from him, kind of me saying, hey, this would be cool, this would be cool. The first 6 months we worked together, it was to write a movie, a biopic. And so I would be telling him stories. But very soon after that, it was him showing me, okay, this is how you do this, and giving me books to read and me learning how to do this stuff until we've gotten to the place we are now, and that we've been for, 6 years, which is, we're just 50-50 partners that both come up with ideas. We both break it down. We outline things, and we, write things.
You said that you didn't think you were brilliant. Isn't there a different kind of brilliance that's not just book smarts, though? I mean, you've been around different people. You've said you know how to read a room. There's a brilliance in that.
Well, I certainly think I have some strengths, I have some strengths that I'm pretty proud of, and I guess gifts maybe, but nothing like spectacular. I think I think my best gift is that I'm a good writer. You know, I'm good at stuff, but I was a pretty good stuntman, and I was a pretty decent actor, you know. But I think I'm a pretty good writer, and that's my strength.
And so the fact that someone in Hollywood might say, well, you have to have this degree from this school, then it doesn't mean you're brilliant. How do you challenge that? How do you say, you know what, though, I can tap into human emotion?
Yeah, I don't think Hollywood is doing that now. I just don't. I don't see that. I think that Hollywood is more interested in authentic storytelling, you know, and I haven't, thank God I haven't had that type of pushback. You know, I've had people that are really interested in the type of experiences that I can bring to the table and the things and the stories that I'm telling. And also my partner, Adam, you know, he's got incredible stories and experience, and yeah, he is very accomplished academically, but he's also an incredible storyteller in his own right. And you know, he's just awesome. So I just haven't dealt with that. You know, I don't think so.
Were you writing at all when you were living in Chicago?
Yes, but not screenplays. I was working on a autobiography with my therapist at that time.
And this was going to be a book or a play, or?
Yeah, so I mean, this is why I started writing. This is why I started writing film and television, because I was writing you know, my therapist, I saw this therapist when I got out of prison, and I really, you know, we were good friends, and I really respected this therapist. I mean, I still do, but I really liked the therapist, and he said, you know, you should write a book. And so we were collaborating on this book, and my girlfriend, who's now my wife at the time, she's like, that's not professional. You shouldn't be writing a book with your therapist. And I didn't see any problem with it, but my, you know, then girlfriend was like, that's crazy. And so she said, have you ever thought about writing a movie? And I said, no. And she says, well, look, I know this writer. I went to school with him. He's really talented. He's in LA right now. You should meet him. And I said, all right. And you know, the rest is history.
That's Adam.
Yeah, that's Adam.
Right. With the book, what were your hopes for it?
I don't know. I didn't think that far in advance back then, you know. I certainly think a little further down the line now than back then. I mean, I don't know. I thought I would write a cool book, a cool story. I wanted to like tell my story. I was interested in that. I hadn't accomplished 50% of what I have now, which is wild, but you know, at that time I thought it was pretty cool doing what I was doing, which was boxing, and now I just started, maybe I was like a year in or 2 years into doing stunts on television and whatnot, so it was cool to me, you know. I wanted to write it and just get it out. I wanted to get it out. I felt like I needed to get it out, I think, back then.
Did it help when you, I don't know how far you got in the book?
Yeah, not far.
Not far, oh. A couple chapters or?
Not even.
Oh, okay.
First page.
First page?
Yeah, maybe two.
Oh, no. Okay.
I had started writing it in prison. I had started writing a book in prison about a story like from childhood that was gonna go into this book. So I had technically started trying to write in prison, but didn't kind of pick that back up until I was out.
Did you think that people wouldn't want to read it?
No, I didn't think so. I thought people would want to read it. I don't know who would want to read it, but there's an audience for everything. There's an audience for, you know, film courage. There's an audience for, you know, probably learning how to fill up water balloons properly. I'm sure there's a YouTube video somewhere on it with 100,000 views. I mean, so I knew there was going to be somebody that wanted to watch it, you know, I don't know. Right. Or read it, sorry.
Well, I mean, you know, a lot of times we don't think our own story is interesting. Or there's then the flip side in Hollywood where people think that they're so interesting. There's a danger in that too. But
yeah, no, absolutely. I think at that time, you know, this guy, my therapist at the time had told me, like, this is a pretty cool story and you can help some people with this and it would be cool to get this out. And I'm like, yeah, all right. Just because of, you know, we haven't got into my past a lot and whatever, but, you know, I was a heroin addict. I was a criminal. I spent a long time in prison. I spent a long time in juvenile detention, you know, in placements growing up. And so to go from that to then getting sober and becoming a professional athlete and then breaking into Hollywood, even if it was Hollywood in Chicago, breaking into Hollywood and working on films and TV shows, it was cool, you know, and so I thought, yeah, okay, I got a story to tell, yeah.